Good day, everyone. Good day, ma'am. We are from Group 1. I am Christian Joy E. Abalda, together with my co-reporters, Ms. Maridel Musnit, Mr. Rico La Rosa, and Mr. Juan Solas. Allow us to report the first process in the audit business process, the record to report process. So, when we look at the business, we shouldn't just see different isolated departments. Instead, we should view business as a life cycle. And the first and foremost cycle in this process is the record to report process, which is often called as the R2R. The contents of our discussion includes the overview of the business process, the process walkthrough, the common controls present, the control objectives, and the common control issues or risks, and the risk mitigation and management. The contents of our discussion includes the overview of the business process, the process walkthrough, the common controls present, the control objectives, and the common control issues or risks, and the risk. So the record to report process is the backbone of the financial accounting operations, capturing, processing, and delivering financial information from transaction recording through financial statements preparation and analysis. So basically, the R2R process, ito yung process na para siyang biography of a company's financial health. It covers everything from the moment a transaction is recorded in the book to the final moment na present siya in a financial report. So bakit nga ba mahalaga yung process na ito? Dahil nga in our previous discussion, kailangan may audit trail sa isang company. So a strong process create a perfect audit trail. And R2R process ensures that every sources can be traced from its final outcome all the way back to its original source. So, dito pa lang malalaman na natin na it's not just about bookkeeping. It's about providing the strategic picture that leaders need to move the business forward. So, we also have the purpose of the record to report process, which includes ensuring the accurate financial records, regulatory compliance, timely reporting for stakeholders, and the management decision making. So, in record to report process, nai-ensure dito na accurate yung financial record. So, dito pa lang, nabibuild na yung trust between the parties. And dito rin na-maintain natin yung strict regulatory compliance with the applicable laws and accounting standards. And it also provides timely reporting to both internal and external stakeholders. And fundamentally, sinusupport ng record to report process yung sound management decision making ng isang company based on the reliable data. And we also have key departments which is included to the record to report process. So as you can see on the slide, we have 4 departments needed in this process. So basically, hindi lang siya effort ng isang department. Isa siyang collaborative effort which includes the accounting, the finance, the operations, and the management itself. And finally, we also have the strategic implications. Kasi nga sa R2R process, we must recognize yung mga function nito and hindi lang siya, it's about bookkeeping. Gaya nga nung sinabi ko kanina, it carries significant strategic implications. So, by focusing on financial integrity, nai-ensure ng R2R na na-manage seamlessly, na-manage yung external audit ng isang company, nasusustain and nabibuild yung investor, yung confidence sa mga investor. And most importantly, nagkakaroon ng operational insights that allow the management to drive business performance. Let's move on naman sa process walkthrough of the R2R process. And para mas madali natin siyang maintindihan, let's apply it to Jollibee Foods Corporation, which is one of the most successful and complex multinational business based in our country. So for the first process, we have the data collection and transaction recording. So in this process, nare-record natin and nag-gather lahat ng daily business transaction ng isang business. From sales, sa expenses, sa payroll, lahat yun nare-record dito and nag-gather. And dito, pinaka-importante is accurate yung nag-gather natin ng data kasi nga, siya yung magiging sources ng lahat ng subsequent data from the next processes. And relating it to Jollibee Foods Corporation. So, every meal na binibili ng customer sa Jollibee is nakaka-capture yung transaction na yun through the point of sale. And yung data na makukuha dito, syempre, is yung sales revenue, the inventory depletion, kung kulang ba yung stock, kailangan ng panibagong stock or sobra. And dito rin, nare-record ng mga store managers yung daily expenses and yung mga payroll hours ng mga crew ng Jollibee. So for the next step, we have the journal entry processing. So in here, we take yung mga raw data na nakuha natin from the first step and we apply the formal accounting principles. And here, we create balance entries by accurately debiting and crediting accounts before i-post pa natin siya to the proper subsidiary ledgers, which is our third process. And the raw data na nako-collect ng mga store is kinakategorize. So, yung mga accountants ng Jollibee Food Corporation, they create entries to debit, for example, cash, sales, revenue. So, dito, na-account yung, syempre, yung cost of goods sold natin and yung cost ng mga ingredients na ginamit that day. So, for the next step, we have the ledger management. So, in here, ang focus natin dito is validation. So, ina-update natin yung mga general ledger and nagpa-perform tayo ng reconciliation to ensure na yung sub-ledgers natin is nag-a-align sa books and perfectly balanced siya. And relating to the process sa Jollibee Food Corporation. So, may ginagamit silang syempre, may ginagamit silang accounting system when it comes to ledger. And when it comes to Jollibee Food Corporation, gumagamit sila ng ERP system like the SAP. So in this stage, lahat ng mga store level data is binavalidate against the bank statements. And if nag-report yung different branch ng Jollibee, for example, is 100,000 and nagkaroon din ng sales through GCash, digital payment, so i-reconcile ng accountant yung mga actual remittance na yon from GCash to ensure na perfectly balanced yung general ledger natin. And for the fourth step, we have the consolidation of the financial data. So, dito naman, yung mga aggregate financial data natin from across all business units and subsidiaries ng Jollibee. Siyempre, may mga subsidiaries pa yung Jollibee like the Mang Inasal, Chowking. So, yung mga data from their business units and subsidiaries, carefully ini-eliminate yun through the intercompany transaction. And na-discuss naman na ito sa business combination natin. So, dito, carefully ini-eliminate yung mga intercompany transaction to present a clean and unified view of the organization's health. And dito, relating naman sa Jollibee Food Corporation, kino-combine nila yung financials ng Jollibee with its subsidiaries like the Mang Inasal, Red Ribbon, Greenwich, and nagkakaroon ng elimination. So for example, if yung Jollibee Group's commissary is nag-sell sila ng flour to the Greenwich branch, so nagkakaroon ng internal sale. And kailangan eliminate siya. So magkakaroon ng yung company ng Jollibee is magkakaroon ng artificially inflate to its own profit. So for the fifth process, we have the financial reporting. And this is where the process data, lahat ng mga data na na-process natin from first step up to the fourth step, dito, nagiging phase of the business na siya. So we generate our key financial statements, the income statement, the balance sheet, cash flow, along with the necessary disclosures. And yung Jollibee Food Corporation, annually nagpo-produce sila ng quarterly and annual reports for the Philippine Stock Exchange. And nag-release din sila ng consolidated balance sheet and income statement para maipakita sa mga investors kung paano ba, kung ano ba yung profit and may tubo ba yung company. So for the next step, we have the compliance and audit. So in here, nai-ensure yung trust and integrity sa isang company. Dito nagkakandak ng thorough internal and external audits para ma-confirm if yung company ba is nag-comply to regulatory compliance and different accounting standards like GAAP, IFRS, and para syempre ma-reinforce din yung internal control ng isang company. So relating to the Jollibee Food Corporation, 'di ba yung Jollibee Food Corporation is a public company. So, ino-audit sila by a firm like the SGV & Co. So, na-verify ng mga auditors na yung Jollibee Food Corporation is sumusunod sila sa accounting standards like the Philippine Financial Reporting Standards, and nai-ensure dito na nagmamatch yung record nila dun sa nire-report nila. And lastly, we have the insights and decision support process. And finally, dito sa step na ito, we unlock yung mga value ng mga data na present natin to the financial statements. And nagmo-move tayo beyond to just reporting the history para i-analyze yung mga trends in the market. And dito, inaalaw na mag-provide ng strategic advice and produce ng data-driven decisions which is makakatulong sa company. And relating to the Jollibee Food Corporation, yung management or the board of directors ng Jollibee is, syempre, tinitingnan nila yung final reports or the financial reports. And through this, dun sila nagkakaroon ng decision-making, and ginagamit nila yung insights na to para, syempre, mag-supply ng mga change strategies or i-adjust nila yung menu nila, or pwede rin i-protect nila yung mga investors nila or the margins. And I think that concludes the process walkthrough of the record to report process from the data collection up to the insights and decision support.
In a broad sense, maraming possible controls ang applicable sa company processes. These controls are designed to cater to specific risks or problems that are currently being encountered. In the record to report process, where we can transform raw transactions data into financial insights, we can categorize common controls into three, which are the segregation of duties, prevent and detect, and lastly, the controlling the control. So, first, sa segregation of duties, this segregation of duties, kung mapapansin natin, is a common control present in any process. So, in record to report, it means dividing responsibilities so that no single person has total control over a transaction. So, for example, the person who records a journal entry should not be the same person who approves it. So, this ensures objectivity and prevents someone from hiding errors or committing fraud by controlling both the input and the oversight. So, next is the prevent and detect. We know there are three main types of control na na-encounter natin dati, which are the preventive, detective, and corrective control. So, sa preventive controls, ito ay yung mga, we can say, ito yung mga gatekeepers or parang mga bantay na nga. So, they stop issues before they happen. In practice, this look like yung automated validation in the accounting software, such as yung system that won't let you save a journal entry if hindi balance yung debit and credit, or yung software na pag nag-input ka ay diretso na after recording sa ledger para minimal lang yung mistakes na mangyayari. So sa detective control, ito may nag-act as alarms. So they tell us if a breach has occurred. A classic example is yung mga monthly bank reconciliation natin, or reconciling yung subsidiary ledger to the general ledger. Hindi siya yung nag-i-stop ng errors, but it ensures we find it before the reports are finalized. So lastly, controlling the control. It is enough for a control to just exist on a paper, but or basta i-apply lang siya. This concept involves evaluating whether the control really serves its purpose. So halimbawa, kung meron daw tayong review and approval control, pero yung head or manager is pumipirma lang without looking, yung control na yun ay waste of investment or walang sense kasi hindi pala talaga ina-practice yung control. So basically, controlling the control means performing checking or internal audit reviews to ensure our set controls such as preventive and detective are actually working efficiently or effectively. And now that we understand how these common controls protect the process, we also have to understand why we implement these steps. And ano nga ba talaga yung mga gusto nating ma-achieve through these controls? So to answer that, we look at our control objectives. So these objectives serve as a main goals for the record to report process, ensuring that our financial data isn't just protected but is also meaningful and compliant. So to discuss the specific goals for financial reporting and general ledger, we have Ms. Musnit.
Now that we have discussed the common controls present, we will now move on to the control objectives. Sa control objectives, ito yung nag-outline kung ano yung ini-aim or yung layunin ng organization na ma-achieve para ma-ensure na yung kanilang financial processes ay nakaka-produce ng accurate at saka ng reliable na information. So the first set of control objectives focuses on financial information and reporting. Dahil ngayong information is ginagamit siya both ng internal and external parties, dapat ma-ensure na yung financial information na na-generate ng organization ay accurate, reliable, timely, and properly protected. So through these control objectives, iisa-isahin natin siya. So here we have the first objective, which is to ensure that management and others within the organization are provided with accurate and timely financial information to support their decision-making and activities. So sa isang organization, alam naman natin na ang financial information ay isa sa pinaka-importanteng resources na ginagamit ng management. Kasi nga yung financial data, yun yung ginagamit ng managers para makagawa sila or makaplano sila ng budget, makapag-evaluate sila ng business performance, makapag-control sila ng cost, and ma-assess nila yung overall financial condition ng kanilang organization. So, halimbawa, gusto ng management na malaman kung kaya ng kanilang company na bumili ng bagong delivery vehicle para sa operations. So, bago sila magdesisyon, ang gagawin syempre muna nila is titingnan nila yung kanilang financial reports para ma-check kung may sapat na profit or may available funds sila na gagamitin. And kung accurate naman ang financial information, syempre makakagawa sila ng kanilang tamang desisyon. Pero kung mali or inaccurate yung information, maaaring isipin ng management na kaya nilang bumili kahit hindi naman pala sapat yung kanilang pera sa company. So dahil dito, yung mga financial transactions ay dapat properly recorded and organized bago pa man sila maging part ng management reports. If may errors na nag-occur sa pag-record pa lang ng transactions, yung financial information na gagamitin sa decision making may also become inaccurate. Therefore, kailangan ma-maintain na reliable yung financial data sa recording stage pa lang para ma-ensure na yung management ay makaka-receive ng dependable information. Kaya mahalaga ang objective na ito dahil sinisigurado nito na reliable ang financial information na ginagamit ng management para makagawa sila ng desisyon para sa organization. Moving on, the second objective is to ensure that all relevant financial reports and returns are accurately prepared and distributed to external bodies in accordance with prevailing legislation, regulation, and contractual obligations. Kung yung first objective nakafocus siya sa internal use of financial information, ito namang second objective, sinasabi na yung organization ay dapat nag-prepare ng financial reports sa mga external users, like for example yung mga government agencies, sa mga investors nila, and sa mga regulatory authorities. Halimbawa dito is yung mga company dito sa Philippines. Sila ay nag-submit ng tax return sa BIR or sa Bureau of Internal Revenue. And yung tax na binabayaran ng kanilang company ay nakabase sa financial information na nire-report nila. So kapag mali yung information or yung financial information na pinasa nila, maaaring mali rin yung tax na babayaran or magkakaroon pa sila ng penalties na galing sa gobyerno. Nagiging importante dito ang accuracy ng accounting records since yung reports ay based sa same financial data na ginagamit internally ng management. So bago pa ma-release externally ang reports, they are usually reviewed para ma-confirm na yung figures ay tama and consistent sa organization's financial records. Ginagawa ito para ma-ensure na yung information na binibigay sa external stakeholders ay accurately nare-represent yung company's financial performance and nag-comply sa applicable regulations. So, pumunta naman tayo sa third objective, which is to ensure that accounting records and financial statements are correctly maintained and prepared in accordance with prevailing accounting standards and good practices. So, dito sa objective na to, nakafocus siya sa pag-follow ng proper accounting standards. And when we say accounting standards, ito yung mga standards like yung IFRS or yung International Financial Reporting Standards or yung PFRS na Philippine Financial Reporting Standards na ginagamit kapag nag-prepare ng financial records and financial statements. Ang halimbawa nito is yung revenue recognition, wherein ang sabi sa standards, revenue should only be recognized when it is already earned and not simply when cash is received. So kapag yung company naka-receive sila ng advance payment from a customer, hindi dapat immediately i-record ito as revenue. Instead, it should be recorded first as a liability until the service or the product is delivered. So, yung tamang pag-follow sa accounting standards ay nag-ensure na yung ating financial statements ay nakaprepare consistently, correctly, and in a way na mas maiintindihan ng users ang financial information. Next, we have the fourth objective, which is to ensure that all financial information is adequately protected from loss, misuse, or unauthorized leakage. Ibig sabihin nito, kailangan maprotektahan ang financial information ng company dahil nga napaka-important nito sa operations at sa decision-making ng organization. So, hindi dapat basta-basta na ma-access siya ng kahit na sinong employee. For example, imagine if merong employee na hindi naman part ng accounting department, pero somehow nagkaroon siya ng access sa accounting system, tapos ang ginawa niya, binago niya yung expense records. So kapag nangyari yun, syempre maaapektuhan yung accuracy ng financial reports ng company. And dahil sa ganitong risk, usually, ang ginagawa is nililimit ng organization ang access sa financial systems. So only authorized personnel tulad ng accounting staff or ng finance department ang pwedeng mag-enter or mag-edit ng financial data. So, ang purpose nito is maprotektahan yung financial information sa unauthorized access at mapanatili ang accuracy at reliability ng financial reports ng company. And the last control objective for financial information and reporting is to ensure that sensitive or confidential corporate financial information is adequately protected. So related ito dun sa previous objective, pero mas specific siya sa confidential financial information na hindi dapat makita ng lahat ng employees. For example, may mga internal documents ang company tulad ng future budgets, yung mga expansion plans, or yung projected profits. And usually, ito ay confidential since ginagamit ito sa planning ng company. And if halimbawa malik yung information about sa company's expansion plan, maaaring malaman ito ng kanilang competitors and magamit ito para makagawa ng sariling strategy before pa man makapag-implement yung company ng plano nila. Kaya ang gagawin or ginagawa ng organization, nililimit nila yung access sa ganitong documents and usually, mga top management or yung selected finance personnel lang yung pwedeng makakita or makagamit ng ganitong confidential information. So, base sa example, makikita natin na yung goal ng objective na ito is yung pag-protect sa confidential financial information para ma-prevent yung misuse ng sensitive data and also maprotektahan yung strategic plan ng organization. So to summarize the 5 control objectives for financial information and reporting, it mainly focuses on making sure that the company's financial information is accurate, reliable, properly prepared, and well protected. After discussing the objectives for financial information and reporting, we will now move on to the control objectives for the general ledger and management accounts. So alam ko naman na familiar na ang lahat sa word na general ledger. So pag sinabing general ledger, ito yung main record kung saan nakasummarize ang lahat ng financial transactions ng company. Dahil dito, napakahalaga ng role nito sa paggawa ng financial reports ng organization. So we have the first objective, which is to ensure that the general ledger and management accounts are accurate, reliable, and properly reflect the operations of the organization. Kagaya nga ng sabi ko kanina, ang general ledger ay siya yung nagko-collect ng financial information mula sa iba't ibang transactions ng company tulad ng sales, purchases, collections, or expenses. And yung mga transaction na ito, nire-record siya sa tamang accounts based sa chart of accounts ng organization. Kapag tama ang pag-record ng mga entries na ito, nagiging maayos at reliable ang summary ng financial activities ng company. Ibig sabihin, makikita sa general ledger kung ano talaga ang nangyayari sa operation ng organization. Next objective is to ensure that accounting data can be used for meaningful and accurate analysis to support management decisions and actions. So kapag na-record na ang financial data sa general ledger, pwede na itong gamitin para gumawa ng management reports. So ang report na ito, tumutulong siya sa manager para maintindihan yung financial performance ng organization. For example, maaaring tingnan ng management yung expense report ng bawat department para makita kung aling department ang mas mataas ang spending kumpara sa expected budget. And kung maayos yung pagkaka-record at saka pagkaka-organize ng mga accounting data, mas madaling maa-analyze ng management yung information. And dahil dito, mas makakagawa sila ng better decisions para sa operation ng company. Next, for our third objective, ensuring that accounting records are maintained in accordance with laws, regulations, and professional good practice. So may mga rules kasi na nagsasabi kung paano dapat i-record, i-store, at i-retain ang financial information ng company. Halimbawa, kapag nagkaroon ng external audit or tax investigation, so maaaring hilingin ng auditors or ng mga regulators na makita yung iba't ibang accounting documents like katulad ng invoice, official receipts, vouchers, journal entries, at saka mga supporting schedules. So, yung mga document kasi na ito, sila yung magsasilbi na evidence ng mga financial transactions ng company. Kaya dapat, yung mga accounting records ay organized, complete, at saka madaling ma-retrieve. Kasi kung maayos ang record keeping ng organization, mas madali nilang mapapatunayan na tama at saka valid yung kanilang financial transactions at reporting. Bukod din dito, ang maayos na accounting records ay nakakatulong din sa transparency at saka sa accountability ng organization. Kapag malinaw ang records, mas madaling makita kung paano ginagamit ang resources ng company at kung saan napupunta ang pera ng company. Pero kung hindi naman properly maintained ang accounting records, maaaring magkaroon ng maraming problema ang kumpanya. So, dumako na tayo sa last objective, which is to ensure that accounting information can be used to generate all required statutory reports and published financial statements. So, yung statutory reports at saka financial statements ng organization ay ginagawa based sa information na nakalagay or nakarecord sa general ledger. So, magkakadugsong itong mga objectives. Kaya mahalaga na accurate, complete, at updated ang data sa general ledger dahil ito ang magiging foundation ng financial reporting. Kapag gumagawa ang accounting department ng annual financial statements like income statement, balance sheet, at saka cash flow statement, kinukuha nila yung data mula sa iba't ibang accounts sa general ledger. So, dito nila makikita yung total revenues, total expenses, assets, liabilities, at saka equity ng company. Kapag maayos ang entry sa general ledger, mas madali para sa accounting department na mag-prepare ng financial reports na tama at saka consistent. Yung mga reports na ito ay ginagamit hindi lamang ng management, kundi pati ng external stakeholders tulad ng investors, banks, regulators at pati na rin ng mga auditors. Halimbawa, kung mag apply ang company ng loan sa bank, ang karaniwang hinihingi ng bangko ay yung mga financial statements para makita kung financially stable ba yung organization. And kung reliable naman yung financial reports ng company, syempre mas mataas yung possibility or yung chance na ma-approve yung kanilang loan application. Pero kung may mali or kulang sa kanilang records na ginagamit sa paggawa ng financial statements, maaaring maging inaccurate ang financial reports. And kapag nangyari ito, maaaring maling information ang makita ng stakeholders tungkol sa financial condition ng company. And sa mas serious na situation, kung mali ang financial statements na naipublish ng organization, maaari itong magdulot ng loss of credibility, regulatory issues, or legal consequences, lalo na kung may stakeholders na umasa sa maling financial information. So to summarize this slide, the general ledger serves as the central record of all financial transactions of the organization. Kapag maayos at accurate ang records dito, mas madaling makakagawa ng reliable financial reports, makakapag-analyze ng financial data, at makakasunod sa legal and reporting requirements ng organization. Pero kung hindi properly maintained ang accounting records, maaari itong magresulta sa inaccurate financial statements, poor management decisions, at possible compliance or legal problems for the company.
Now that we know the control objectives for financial information reporting and the general ledger, let us now go to the common control risk and risk mitigation for both. So I chose two control risk for financial information reporting and this is general ledger. At kung matatandaan, in one word, ang control objectives ng financial information reporting is accuracy, completeness, timeliness, compliance, at security. So, ang pinili ko dito sa common control risk ay timeliness. Sa timeliness is untimely or incomplete financial reporting. Mga causes nito ay delays in data submission, slow reconciliation process, and lack of clear reporting deadlines. Bakit nagkakaroon ng delay in data submission? Kasi sample natin is sa sales, procurement, or sa manufacturing. Madalas dito, may mga external or mga third parties na involved. So sa sales, pag hindi agad sumagot o nag-sign yung client or yung customer, hindi agad natin ma-record. Lalo na kung ito year-end, kaya nade-delay. Sa procurement naman, kung hindi nakapag-bid agad yung supplier, ganun din. Hindi natin agad ma-record, kaya nagkakaroon ng delay. Slow reconciliation process. Bakit nagiging mabagal yung reconciliation process? Kasi minsan merong mga manual process at kung marami ito, lalo na kung malaking transactions, babagal yung reconciliation. At dahil doon, nagiging late ang pagpasa uli. At huli ay lack of clear reporting deadlines. Kasi nga, iba-ibang department, maraming department sa isang kumpanya or sa isang organization, minsan ay madalas ay hindi sila nagasabay ng pagpasa ng mga data. Minsan ay huli, minsan ay maaga. Kaya kung nakalagay dito na may clear deadline, edi doon sila dapat. So next, ano mga impacts nito? Una, delayed release of financial statements o self-explanatory. Slow decision making. Since kulang ating data, hindi kita agad makakapagbigay ng decision. Kaya nagbabagalan kita. And lastly, data may no longer be relevant. Since importante ang timeliness kasi changes might happen on the dime, pag hindi agad nakuha yung data, baka in just 1 day or 2 days or even 1 week, baka ang data na ito hindi na relevant. Ano naman ang mga mitigation strategies? Una is try to automate when possible. Ang dami na natin technology, AI, meron na kita mga processes, mga business processes app na pwede natin gamitin, mabili, at mga systems na pwede try natin na mag-automate kasi kung puro manual, babagal talaga ang ating mga process. Sunod, enforce strict deadlines. Self-explanatory. Pag nagbigay kita ng deadline, ito dapat ang deadline. And last, coordinate departments. Madalas ay, dahil nga iba-iba minsan ang pagpasa ng mga mga department ng mga kanilang data. Kapag nagsabay sila lahat, nagkakaroon ng delay kasi nagkaka-bottleneck. Pero minsan naman yung mga late at lalo na yung hindi talaga makakapagpasa agad sa deadline tulad doon sa sales at procurement, i-coordinate dapat nila sa accounting department para malaman nila na, oh, may ganito kita mangyayari, kaya magkakaroon kita ng konting delay. Or pwede namin to ipasa pero incomplete, pwede nyo na lang i-note. Punta naman kita sa compliance. Ano ang common control risk dito? Non-compliance with accounting standards and regulation. Ano mga cause? Inappropriate accounting standards, no compliance oversight, at insufficient accounting experience. Bakit nagkakaroon ng inappropriate accounting standards? Sabihin natin may bago nirelease ang PFRS na bago standard. Sabihin natin sa inventory. Pero itong isang kumpanya dahil nasa probinsya, hindi agad nakita na may bagong requirement para sa inventories. Di pasa lang sila ng pasa ng FS at mga requirements sa SEC, pero nung nakita nila, hindi man pala akma yung kanilang standard na ginamit kasi may bago na. Kaya nagkakaroon ng inappropriate accounting standard. No compliance oversight. Madalas ito ay nakatukas sa internal audit or kung may separate naman, may separate department, ito yung compliance committee. Pero pag sa mga bago o maliliit na kumpanya, madalas ay wala silang mga internal audit or compliance committee. Kaya gumagamit sila ng mga third party. Dahil third party, hindi na nila full time na i-check yung at ma-oversee yung buong pag-comply ng kumpanya na ito. Kaya minsan ay madalas no compliance oversight. Lastly, insufficient accounting experience. Ito yung ganun din. Ito yung madalas ay sa mga bago at mga maliliit na kasi merong mga dito sa insufficient accounting experience, ay sabihin natin may mga complex, di ba, mga standards. Sabihin natin revenue recognition o kaya asset capitalization. Dahil hindi nila paggamay yung process na yun, madalas ay yung mga entries nila, it's either kulang, understated, or overstated. Kaya yun yung mga causes dito. Kaya hindi sila compliant sa accounting standards. Anong impact nito? Una, syempre, penalties. Kapag hindi ka sumunod sa regulation, mapapenalize ka. Sunod, reputational damage. Kasi hindi ka sumusunod sa regulation, nawawalan yung reputation mo na sabi, hindi sila sumusunod sa batas, hindi sila sumusunod sa mga regulation. Nadadamage yung reputation nyo. And lastly, misleading financial report. Kasi nga, hindi kayo sumunod sa tamang standard, paano natin masasabi na yung inyong financial statements or yung financial report is tama? Nagiging misleading yung mga reports ninyo. Ano mga risk mitigation strategies dito? Create a compliance oversight department or gawa ng internal audit department. Ganun din lang naman. Monitor regulatory changes. Maghanap ng or mag-assign ng responsibility sa isang tao or isang department na titingin lagi kung merong mga pagbabago sa regulations. Kung ito man ay sa batas, ito man ay sa standards, o ano man pang mga regulations na kailangang i-monitor. And lastly, provide training to accounting staff. Dahil lalo na sa malalaki, lalo na pala sa maliliit na hindi pa sanay sa mga complex na mga standards, kailangan natin i-train ng mga company para masanay sila sa mga complexities ng mga recognition ng mga transactions na ito. Para doon makapag-comply sila sa mga standards na ito. Ngayon natatapos na natin ang common control risk ng financial information reporting, punta naman kita sa general ledger. Kung tatandaan, ang control objectives dito is accuracy, relevance, compliance, at reliability. Pinili ko is accuracy and reliability. Sa accuracy, ang common control risk dito is incorrect posting and classification of transaction. Ang causes is complex chart of accounts, creating new accounts without approval, and no proper review or reconciliations. Bakit nagkakaroon kita ng complex chart of accounts? Sabihin natin na may granular reporting or specified masyado yung pagka-report ng expense. Sabihin natin office supplies. Pero ang nakalagay dito, imbis na office supplies, ang nakalagay ni paper supplies, ink supplies, pen supplies. masyadong specific. Or pwede namang ikaw ay accountant ng parent company at meron kang multiple subsidiaries na meron silang sariling mga chart of accounts. Dahil ikaw yung parent at gagawa ka ng consolidated financial statements, hindi mo alam kung anong tamang chart of accounts ang gagamitin kasi complex dito. Sunod, creating new accounts without approval. Sabihin natin sa chart of accounts na ang nakalagay is IP assets or intellectual property assets. Pero kailangan mong mag-record ng licenses or other royalties. Pero ikaw naman si pasimuno kasi hindi mo alam kung ano ibig sabihin ng IP or intellectual property, naglagay ka na lang license assets. Dahil hindi man talaga ito nakalagay sa chart of accounts, no prior approval, edi nagawa ka lang ng sarili mo accounts. Magkakagulo ito kasi hindi na matatama yung classification niya. Sunod, no proper review or reconciliations. Ang sample naman dito is, ikaw ay bago lang sa kumpanya pero may prior experience ka sa isa pang kumpanya. Sa luma niyong kumpanya is asset method ang gamit. Pero dito sa bagong kumpanya, expense method. Dahil nasanay ka sa asset method, tinuloy mo hanggang dito. At dahil dito, hindi man nagatugma yung assets at expense. At kung walang proper review or hindi agad na recon, hindi magiging tama yung mga data. Anong impacts nito? Misclassification of accounts. Reduce comparability at errors in financial analysis. Misclassification of accounts, simple, straight to the point. So, sa reduce comparability, kung pabago-bago yung mga classifications, yung pabago-bago yung accounts ninyo, hindi magiging comparable between between the years ng company or even sa other companies. Kaya magkakaproblema. Errors in financial analysis. Tulad din dito. Sabihin nating asset method ginamit mo, expense method dati, dahil hindi man tama yung pag-classify, nagkakaroon ng problema sa mga ratios. Kasi may mga hindi dapat talaga kasama dun sa mga nakalagay sa accounts. Anong mitigation strategies? Maintain an approved and controlled chart of accounts. Periodic review and reconciliation of accounts. And provide training to accounting staff. Lahat sila is self-explanatory, so diretso na lang kita sa susunod. Sunod naman natin itatakil is sa reliability. Anong common control risk dito sa reliability? The unauthorized or invalid journal entries. Ano mga causes? Lack of segregation of duties, excessive system access privilege, at poor monitoring of journal entries. Dito sa lack of segregation of duties, paulit-ulit na lang. Ito yung isang tao ay nag-handle ng iba't ibang task na may chance na magkaroon ng conflict. So, sample lang dito is si cashier, siyang may hawak ng petty cash, siyang nag-record at siya ang nagagawa ng bank record. So, hindi dapat ito pwede. Sunod, excessive system access. So, system access privilege. Dapat ito ang access privilege dapat ay nasa iilang tao lang, yung may tamang authority. Kasi nga, pag binigay ito kung kanino man, anong chance na i-delete nyo yung mga transactions? Anong chance na baguhin nyo yung mga transactions? Hindi natin alam. Next, poor monitoring of journal entry. Kailangan natin i-monitor yung journal entries kasi nga, malay natin kulang ang documentation or highly unusual itong transaction na ito. Kasi kung hindi natin na-monitor, edi may chance ang may hindi kitang makita na hindi kaaya-aya. So, anong mga impact nito? Una, fraudulent entries. Self-explanatory. Magkakaroon kita ng fraud, pwedeng itago nila yung mga entries na pwede nilang kupitan. FSR unreliable. Ay kasi nga, hindi natin alam kung ano mga dinagdag nila. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung mga journals na yung mga entries na tinanggal nila. Magiging unreliable yung data kasi nga, how are we sure na wala silang binago? Lastly, manipulation of financial results. Ganun din. Hindi natin alam talaga kung may binago, may tinanggal, or may dinagdag. Kapag may nangyaring ganun, issue agad. So, ano yung mga mitigation strategies? Require approval for manual journal entries. Create visible audit trails for all entries. And periodically review unusual or high-value journal entries. Itong unang strategy, mitigation strategy is kasi mayroong mga chance na may mga entries or transactions kita na manually muna natin ginagawa bago ipopost na lang diretso sa ledger ng accounting system. Pero dahil ito'y diretsong i-post, hindi dadaan sa accounting system ng journal entries, hindi maabutan yung mga controls para sa pag-journalize. So, pag hindi na abutan yun, kailangan natin na ma-approve at ma-ensure na itong mga i-journal natin dito na manually at ipopost ay tama talaga. Sunod, create visible audit trails for all entries. So, ibig sabihin lang nito, documentation, and documentation. Kapag may audit trail kita, pwede natin makita kung sino or ano ang naging dahilan nitong fraudulent or manipulation. Kaya, mas madaling mabigyan ng accountability yung may sala. And lastly, periodically review unusual or high-value journal entries. Dito madalas nakikita ang mga tinatago. Kung unusual at hindi talaga madalas makita dito sa ating business process, bakit dito lumabas? Kailangan natin tanungin, kailangan natin i-review kung tama ba talaga itong nangyari o hindi. And high value, syempre high value eh. Malaking perang malabas or malaking transaction ito, kailangan natin i-check talaga. So yun lang para sa common control risk ng general ledger at yung financial information reporting. Yun ang part ko.
In summary, the record to report process shows how important proper controls, clear objectives, and risk mitigation in producing accurate and reliable financial information. When these are in place, organizations are able to maintain trustworthy financial reports and support better decision making. And that concludes our presentation. Thank you so much for listening.